my camera's not on. For very professional, Alex. How you guys doing? Wait, where's my...
Thank you, dude.
How is everyone doing? Everyone doing well, I hope. There we go. I'm back. Here we go. Space Gables, thank you so much for tier 1. Frank, how are you doing today?
All right. Good, guys. Definitely happy to be on.
All right. Space Gables, how are you doing, sir?
Doing good. Doing good.
And Mr. Chase.gg?
I'm doing great. I just saw that Reagan just resubbed to you, and I'm also checking because I know last time he did.
Dude, isn't this is a special occasion? It's like, I think, my year on Twitch, and we have RandomFrankP on the channel. Isn't that crazy? Isn't that nuts? But Frank,
crazy.
Obviously you have a lot of stuff going on in the community today.
Yeah.
And actually this whole month. First of all, how are things been? You know, how is the family?
Yeah, not too bad. Just, hanging in there, taking it easy, taking it slow. Since I work out of the house, it's been, the whole like COVID stuff hasn't affected me too much. But it's just doing what I can. And now with the holidays coming up, like the you hear it with like, the big YouTubers say like Techtober and stuff, but it's real. Like the tech rush is 100% on, and there's just so much stuff to get caught up on, and I'm super behind as it is. So just every day playing catch up and just hanging in there,
Yeah, I hear you, man. It's definitely that month before, like we were just talking about before we started the stream, that month before Black Friday,
The host, dude.
Yeah.
But
and again, with like COVID and stuff, so much things and so much product releases got pushed back, where once they got like, I guess like released from the docks and stuff overseas, it was kind of at an awkward month, because around like May, June, July is when a lot of companies who wanted to push stuff out earlier kind of got their stock released, and then they're like, well, it's kind of the dead time right now. So I know a lot of companies that had stuff that was really originally going to come out in the summer kind of like pushed it back. So now it's like just a double wave of products that are coming out for the holidays. It's been crazy.
For sure. Hey guys, I'm raising the volume up a little bit. It's like peaking in red. If you guys can't hear, this is on you now. But no, honestly, man, there's a lot of stuff that got pushed back. Dude, I was even surprised. I thought was it just me, or was even the Apple release kind of late this year too? I thought that was supposed to be way early.
So their phones, I believe, are usually September. Like that's what they have, I think, just like their conference or whatever it is. But yeah, it did feel later, because I'm pretty sure also like the iPad one or whatever the one from the summer was, that was pushed back as well. So yeah, it's like a month or two, everything was kind of pushed back. But yeah, now we're getting new iPhones, I guess, in October. But also, if I think about it, I got the iPhone 10 whenever that came out. That was in November, so I don't really know. I feel like they just do their own thing.
Dude, I've been so confused by all the Apple products more recently, at the very least, like with the 10 and then the 10s, the 11. I feel like there's been no real big differences, and especially the phones. So it's like, for me, I'm just not impressed. But
yeah,
I am impressed. And I'm sure Chase and Reagan can say the exact same thing about a little something that got released this week.
Yeah.
The NK65 RandomFrankP Edition.
Yeah, it looks kind of blown out on my end, but
Clean.
But yeah, I'm super excited to get this off the ground and formally out there. Novel Keys has been great with the whole collab. Like I said, I just floated the idea to them. They had their ideas. It came together. It was like a few weeks of a turnaround. They had complete renders and more ideas. Like the whole Topo mousepad, that was their idea. Like I didn't even think about that. We just talked about like the color scheme and just like some design choices, and they just came back with that. Didn't even think about the logo escape key. They had all that. So I was like, all right. And then the fact, I'm more excited about the fact that we give the audience or the buyers, or whoever you want to, I don't know, differentiate. Audience,
Same thing.
consumers, buyers,
we're all consumers at the end of the day.
Yeah. But they get both the options of either like linear or the super clicky switches. That's one thing that I wanted to at least try to touch on, because I know people are you're either linear or you love the clicky tactiles. I know some people were pissed that we didn't get just tactile switches. But I feel like at the end of the day, it's kind of the best of both worlds, because we have the recolored silk switches, the yellow silk switches. So they're super smooth, factory lubed. And we have that nice like emerald kind of color.
Yeah.
And the box shades, I think, are like one of the most satisfying clicky switches out there. So the fact that we can get both of those, I thought was really cool.
I was going to ask, were those switch choices because those are specifically the jades. Is that because you prefer jade, or you just like jades, so they recolored them for you? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That's an interesting
which is
choice.
Nice, yeah.
Yeah, I know. And Alex is a big fan of the jades too. I know. And Alex's dad is also like. We've got some jade fans around here. There's a few.
It's one of those switches that where sometimes we'll be on stream and everyone will be like, just put jades in it. I'm like, come on, guys, again. Even I think pretty much everyone here, at least in the stream here, really likes jades. I think even chat really likes. If you guys like jades, just type you like jades, please.
I mean, it's just like I don't know if they can hear it.
No,
but
definitely, it's nice.
Super clicky.
You can hear that.
Okay, cool. And just the recoloring, I think, is just gorgeous on these. I would love to get some loose like switches of these, but I don't know if that's gonna work out or not since they're sold as the whole bundle.
I was actually gonna ask about that. Will we be seeing those colorways as individual switches?
Yeah, I don't think so. We actually haven't even like had that conversation. But as far as I know, they were just being made for these. I have had a lot of people ask if I was gonna sell them separately, or if Nalaki was gonna sell them separately. But I mean, I guess depending on how well the overall keyboard launch does, and if there is a lot of interest in it, it could probably be something to look at.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, I mean, I'd definitely be interested. I like jades. I'll be honest, I'm not the biggest fan of the colorway currently of like a jade switch or even a box switch. So seeing something like that's definitely, it's pretty looking for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
Go on, sorry. Yeah, Chase actually had a bunch of questions that I'd like to start us off with too.
Sure.
Yes. Yeah. No, so I wanted to kind of ask you, so now seeing like the NK65 and everything like that, I know like you've done a lot of keyboard reviews probably over the last few years of, your off-the-shelf keyboards, your Corsair keyboards, your Razer keyboards, anything like that. What, I guess when and like what kind of made you dive a little deeper into the mechanical keyboard scene from those off-the-shelf keyboards?
It's a good question. I don't even really know. I feel like, probably something Rama related piqued my interest.
Okay.
So whether that was just like seeing those keyboards through like Room Tour Project, like getting all the different submissions and stuff through there, or maybe it was like Instagram. I don't know, but I know Rama was definitely like the first company that I saw that was different from the mass-produced Corsair ones like that, your typical gaming keyboard. And then just the more I looked into it, obviously you see that it's just the whole thing opens up of how the different switch types, the different types of cases, and it's all things just from being a typical like gaming keyboard consumer in the past. Like I didn't even really know about it, was completely just ignorant to the whole community. So it was definitely cool to like just get into it and then just see how it can go on forever. And it's one of those things where you hear often with like Endgame and stuff, but like it's hard. Yeah, it's hard to be fully satisfied in the end because there's always something new coming out, always something really cool looking. And keyboards is one of those things where like it hits on so many different senses with like visuals, like your setup aesthetics and your like the tactility or the smoothness of it. So you got the touch, the hearing with the response of the switches. So it's one of those things where it's like it just really appealed to me and it grabbed me. And just being able to, like I said, like switch it up for the aesthetics and like kind of like design different choices and stuff for it.
Yeah, especially if you work from home like all day long and it's something you use for business.
Yeah,
it's like,
exactly.
Why not be comfortable? Like for me, when I started out, like I think everyone starts out with kind of like, for the most part, kind of a beginner keyboard. And you're on Instagram and all of a sudden I don't know, because the algorithm or because your Echo Dot hears you, but you start seeing keyboards on your Explore page. Yeah. And you're like looking down at your desk and you're like, damn, I need to grab some new shit.
That's the big thing too, like the social media marketing. And actually one of our viewers too, Puncheroo, said really exciting to see bigger YouTubers getting into keyboards. We're all pretty new to the hobby, me, Chase, and Reagan. So seeing some of the bigger faces too, like yourself, Bad Seed, BT, like seeing a bigger YouTube presence of them too, has been honestly really inspiring from my point of view as well. And it's definitely like opening up a lot of people's eyes. Because when you're introducing that to people, there might be some resistance saying, well, how is this different from my Corsair keyboard? Or how is this different? What's the difference between Romer G's and this?
Yeah.
People are wondering. And it's just, let me tell you. Watch a RandomFrankP. But it's really inspiring seeing that kind of stuff. Because it definitely draws, more people into the hobby. And it brings in some really good people. And there's Bad Seed right now. Hey, how you doing, Bad Seed?
Hey.
Oh, yeah.
There he is. And then we have another question too. Honest question: do you guys turn off your RGB lights when you're off stream? I don't want to answer that. I feel like this is revealing way too many secrets if I tell you. I can't tell you. I can't tell you guys.
I mainly just keep mine a static color, either like white or like a light blue. When I'm filming, I'll usually throw it on like the full RGB just to have that, you know, visual factor and stuff for like videos and reviews. But I usually just keep it like one static color. Sure,
yeah. For me, the only RGB piece I keep on, guys, is those cola lights over there and the LifeX panels. Everything else gets turned off. It gets too bright in here. That's it. That's all.
Yeah, you can't see my cola lights are like behind my bed right here, and you can only see like this little sliver of RGB poking out, and I'm like, man.
He needs more RGB.
We're working on it though.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you about that. I see that advertised all the time on Instagram.
Fucking TikTok light, dude, and I love it.
So I was actually gonna pick up one of those, but like wherever I tried to find it, it was always like a month or two shipping, and it was like twice the price for shipping. So I figured it was like from overseas.
I mean, I found it from like a TikTok. I'm assuming like a drop shipper, but it was FedEx here inside of 7 days. It was like $130. Definitely a TikTok impulse purchase. That's why I deleted the app. But it's awesome. It's got like an RF remote, which is one thing I really like about the communication, because you know the IRs, you got to point it at the little diode. Yeah, it's annoying, but this is awesome. I dig it, and it's like got this corner base, you know, so it's like meant to be cornered.
Yeah,
but y'all don't know that from this angle, so it's okay.
Reagan, are you satisfied with it though? Like, does it work for you?
I am. I like it. It's got a nice heavy base, makes me justify my purchase a little bit more.
The heavier the better.
Yeah. Alex, I was gonna say, I don't know if we ever really like took the time to specifically say like our guest this week is RandomFrankP. If you guys don't know who RandomFrankP is,
there he is. Yeah,
he is a YouTuber who is commonly known for a lot of his tech review stuff. He has cost me a little bit of money over the last couple of years with his best tech under $50. Yeah. All that stuff gets me. It always does, because $50 is such a good price point to hone in on. But yeah, I kind of wanted to ask you a little bit about like your journey to getting to where you are now, like outside of just keyboard stuff. Like kind of ask you, like I took a look back on your channel a little bit. I was looking back at like where you started and things. I won't go too deep into details there, but like I know like you had a few like early videos that kind of like hit it off, that weren't necessarily tech related. Like you had like a couple like video game videos that kind of like hit it off, but also like I did see a couple like early tech reviews that you did. I was wondering like, how do you, like, you obviously tried a bunch of different things before you landed on like tech reviews as what you were doing, and you obviously had some interest in producing content. But like I don't know, I just want to hear a little bit more about that.
Yeah, so yeah, I mean, I guess if you look back on my channel from like latest videos to now, it's definitely a roller coaster. I was heavily, like, me and my friends were growing up, and I believe one of my friends was even in chat before. I don't know if I see him still, but heavily inspired by like the TV show and movie Jackass, like the CKY crew, all that kind of stuff. So
I saw you wearing a CKY shirt.
Yeah. So when I was in the Ninjas versus Pirates one, the blue CKY shirt. So when I was in 5th grade, like one of like my first like ever like big purchases was like my own video camera. I don't remember what it was at the time. And then me and my friends would just do like skateboarding stuff and just stupid stunts that, like, looking back now, were super like innocent and like not cool or risky at all. But just like, you know, we were in 5th grade, so what were we really doing? So that was a big inspiration to me, just seeing how the Jackass crew and them and all their friends could like get together and just do all this stupid stuff. So I thought it was really cool. So there's actually a lot more stuff on the channel that's like privated and unlisted, just because it's like don't need that out there. Doesn't really,
no one needs to see
now. Yeah, so that was the channel early on. Lots of like little skits and stuff like that. And then I started, I think when the Xbox One came out, I picked up a capture card, and I wanted to, I thought I was going to be like one of the first people, because I had it like the Xbox One pre-ordered and went to the midnight release. I was like, all right, I'm going to be like the first person to like capture all this Xbox One gameplay, and my channel's going to take off. But little did I know, like, there was already thousands of other people who had the same idea and were doing that at a way bigger level than I was. So around that point, that was probably 2013. And so when the Xbox One had the Kinect, that was a big thing like when it first came out.
It was. Yeah.
So one of the games I was playing was NBA 2K14. And I didn't know, but the Kinect is always listening to you. So I was doing just like a voiceover, just like a commentary on the gameplay, and it heard me curse in the game, and then it penalized me for cursing, thinking I was like cursing to the ref. So I like lost my shit. Like I just went off the rails because I was like kind of pissed off that even happened, but like also I was still like kind of playing it up a bit for just the voiceover. So that was like a 16-minute video, but then I clipped like 30 seconds of it, put it on YouTube, and then just like I think I drove back up to school that day because it was like over the weekend I was home visiting for college, and then like on my way up, like my phone was just blowing up, and I was checking it. That's when back like I would have emails for like whenever I get a new subscriber. So I'm just seeing all these new subs come up. I'm like, what is going on? And then I checked later on, and I saw that someone posted it on Reddit, I believe. And then just those next 2-3 days, it blew up. It got a little over 1.5 million views, I think, in 2 days. It was covered everywhere. Like I have a clip of it. They showed it on ESPN. Like they censored it.
Oh, no way, really?
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
Howard Stern played the audio, which was just like bizarre. So at that point, I was like, okay, like I had this video go viral. I think it only got me maybe like 2,000 subs. I was expecting a lot more for it getting like over nearly 2 million views, but
yeah.
So I tried the gameplay stuff for a while, and being that like that rage kind of person in the game, which is like what I was like doing for those videos, like trying to like those rage quit type videos. That's just not like me, and 90% of it was just so forced and just tiring because I'm just screaming and cursing for no reason. So I did the gaming stuff for a little bit, and then when I was in my senior year of college, that's when the K70 RGB came out, and this is super weird, and it like I guess it kind of helped me get to where I am. But I pre-ordered it on Amazon, and it for whatever reason it got shipped to me like 2 weeks before it even released.
No way.
They knew.
Yeah,
at least this guy has the chops for it. We'll just send it
You were
to
handpicked on a list.
Yeah, you were selected by Jeff Bezos himself.
It was a good thing that happened, because then like I had it in for a while, and I did a review on it, and then Razer put out their Black Widow RGB, whatever it was at the time.
Yeah.
So then I did a comparison, and I was like, okay, like, and I had no idea what I was talking about in those two videos, because those were my first like actual mechanical keyboards, and just like it's very stupid to look back on because I just very clearly don't know what I'm talking about. But then that video blew up. That was like one of my most popular videos for a while. And just seeing the success out of that, and I was always more interested in the tech side of things, because like, yeah, while I liked gaming, you know, before I would buy a new headset or a new anything, I would look up reviews first. And a lot of times there wouldn't be, you know, all the information I wanted to see in reviews. So I just took it as like, okay, I'm going to buy all the stuff I want to kind of test out and review it. Hopefully, like at that time, like maybe I'll make like, you know, $50 out of it, just, you know, because even back then, like YouTube wasn't too big with their like monetization and stuff. It was just kind of thing where like I was more interested in the tech side. So I figured instead of doing the gaming, why not try more tech? And then just seeing the success of the Corsair and Razer keyboard comparison video, once that took off, I just sort of stuck in that lane. And thankfully I did. It's been a wild ride.
It has been. And you know what else I noticed recently was you were trending on YouTube for your Amazon Prime Day deal stuff. Yeah,
and it was very cool to like, because that was always one of my goals. Like when I first started YouTube, my pretty much two goals were to have a trending video and to hit 1 million subscribers. Now we hit trending that day, but it was like in the most unsatisfying way possible, because that video literally took me like 15 minutes to make.
So effort,
I filmed it real quick. Yeah, it was like literally 15 minutes. And because I obviously Prime Day's big, but I figured this year, because it was later on, it wouldn't be too big of a video, and didn't even get like that many views to the point where I thought like it was worthy of trending. Because usually you see the trending tab and it's like at least 1 million and up. It's only had like 200,000, I believe, or maybe I think it was even less at the time it was trending. It was like the fact that like I put like 15 total minutes in this video and it gets trending versus like the countless hours and hours and days I'll spend on other videos that will never get trending. It'll max out at like 100,000. It's just like, come on.
And it's weird what resonates with people too. Like in a good way, it's weird, but there's been times where like you can put tons of effort into something, and you're like, my God, I am so proud of this. and then you get like either the algorithm, whatever you want to blame it on, something doesn't go right and you get nothing. And then you do something, you're like, I'm just gonna throw something together. I need to do something for this week. You know, it's gonna be entertaining, but it's not gonna be my peak performance work. And then Amazon, or I guess Google in this case here, is like, let's slap it on the trending page. You'll be happy about this. Well, that's cool, man. It's honestly been so cool to see your growth over the years. I've been a long time subscriber myself. I know me and you have shared some Reddit messages over the last few years. Yep. I've been put on your battle station videos a few times back when I used to clean my desk a little bit more. But
I remember you always had like crazy audio gear too. That's like what really impressed me. And I think you were probably, like I said before, you were probably also one of the ones that, like from the submissions I would get, that had a custom keyboard.
Yes. Yeah, I think the very first keyboard I had, which I know we've talked about here in chat too, is the the Gans GK87 Pro, which was like the intro level for me, and I guess how I got into keyboards, right? So that was always something that I had. But then I had Tofu's, and then I think that's what kind of really just made me nosedive into this hobby. But it's been so cool, and you know, I'm really happy for your success and everything too, man. Like, it's been crazy because your videos are always kind of my go-to. You, again, Bad Seed, BT, my go-tos for all that kind of stuff.
I appreciate it.
But another keyboard question for you.
Yep.
We see a lot about everyone talking about your Corsair keyboard.
Yes.
And we definitely know you own some customs.
Yeah.
And you still go to the Corsair. We want to know what's up with that.
So actually, I did a full in-depth video about that very question.
Did you? Okay.
I did. And I mean, I use a different one. I use their newer K100 now as well. But yeah, that's honestly, like, I get people asking me that all the time. And it just comes down to pretty much for when I'm filming, editing, and gaming, like all right here. It's just been so much easier for me just to have the Corsair, because in terms of all the macros, I've had programmed since like 2017 with their software that I've gotten used to, the multimedia keys, the volume dial, and then now with like their own sort of integrated dial they have on there, you can do different things with macros, and then their IQ like screen, and then all the Elgato stuff, it all ties together. So in terms of a workflow, I just use it just for that because it's been so much easier and it's what I've been used to. But I have two different setups that I use in the studio as well, and I'll have like more so like that's kind of like a separate spot for filming. Yeah. So I'll use the customs over there and stuff like that, and I'll switch them out and stuff. But yeah, I mainly stay towards the Corsair just because of the workflow, and for gaming, I don't mind switches and stuff.
I'm the same. I have one particular keyboard I bust out for Photoshop all the time, mainly because I'm too lazy to rebind another keyboard to all those macro pads. Like way too lazy. I can't be bothered.
Exactly. Then, like there's so many cool macro pads out there too, and different sort of like all the Elgato stuff. Loop Deck has some really cool like macro things. I don't remember the name of it, but like Loop Deck has some really cool stuff, and I would love to be able to cut down on this massive keyboard and like just stick with either like a 65 or something like that, and then have that on the side. But again, like you said, taking the time to reprogram it and then learn it, and then the muscle memory, it's just like
that's one thing too. Like, have you tried? I think you've tried an HHKB, right? You have.
Yes, I have the Hybrid Pro, I believe.
Yeah, and getting even used to that layout versus your standard, like that's tough. Muscle memory for me is just, you know, like if you think by default the what we consider the caps lock key is the control key, and even that's like tough to remember.
Yeah, I've been trying to use that on this second like minimal workstation video I'm working on. But yeah, it's definitely a interesting transition, even though it's something so little, but it just throws you off.
there's days where I use those type of keyboards. Like I'll bust out like my Clavier Quasi, which is still programmed to the basic HHKB, and I'm just clicking the caps lock, and I'm still in caps lock mode. I'm like, how the hell do I get caps lock off? and I just unplug the keyboard, run and grab another one. I'm like, hey, not using this today, and then
grab another keyboard.
Yeah, I don't know which one to use.
Alex, I wanted to kind of touch on something that Frank brought up when talking about his Corsair keyboard, like why he uses that keyboard specifically for productivity. I think something that we don't really talk about much with this hobby specifically is like, you know, these are tools at the end of the day as well. Yes. Like some of us have them in front of us because we like what we're looking at, and maybe, you know, like what we have like in front of me right now, obviously, like I'm using a board that I like the way it looks, I like the way it feels, but what he was explaining why he uses his keyboard, like again, it's a tool, And it's like similar to the car hobby too. Like people who are into cars, like sure they're gonna have like, you know, a nice Supra in the garage or something, but they're probably daily driving something, you know, a little bit more affordable, something a little bit more accessible. So I mean, it makes a lot of sense.
Just saying, I daily the Supra.
But people with like even like guitars too. That's one thing I often compare it to, like to the audience that doesn't understand. Like people will buy and collect numerous different types of guitars, and whether it's like from their favorite bands and stuff, they're not gonna use that super expensive like one that they got at some crazy auction all the time. They're gonna use like just, you know, one that they could, you know, don't have to worry about damaging or breaking, but they're still gonna have their collection. You know, they don't have to use the super nice one 24/7.
And that's one thing we bring up on specifically in our community too. It's, you could literally, and we get a lot of people who come in, younger kids, even people who just can't afford a keyboard at the moment. Maybe they have a membrane keyboard they got from Microsoft. It came with their computer, yada yada yada. We think it's really important to remind people too that it doesn't matter what you have. You know, if you're interested in it, you're interested in it. End of story. Yeah, you're more than welcome to learn and be part of the community, even if you can't really participate. You're more than welcome. And I think that's one thing that's really cool. And I'm going to bring this up again, seeing bigger faces. You know, not promote, I guess. I guess promote would be the right word, but bring up and discuss and share.
Introduce other
Introduce, yeah,
people.
That's a better word. To a hobby. And it's so cool to see how many people have been more interested now. I think the one thing that really made the hobby take off more recently was when Teja did the Tfue build, which I know you got to take a look at.
Yeah.
How wicked was that thing?
It was definitely nice. I mean, I know people preferred his like anodized version versus the splatter one, but I mean, just the sheer weight itself for such a small keyboard like that was crazy. And just obviously the novel keys like cream switches and having them lubed and stuff, and just with that case, it was insane. It was definitely a tank of a keyboard. And yeah, I did a sort of like a review on that. And then also on like my second ASMR channel, I did just like 30 minutes of typing on it.
Oh, that's awesome. I didn't even know you had an ASMR channel.
And neither did I, actually.
Yeah, so it's called a Random ASMR. And it actually, it first started as like a vlog channel, but then I sort of switched it to ASMR when I first got Jade switches a few years ago. And I did just like a typing test on like the clickiest switches, And I don't upload very often at all. Like if I remember, every like few months I'll do it. But yeah, the keyboard of the Tfue one was the last ASMR video I did where it was just me typing on there for a while.
We have a question in chat too that I want to ask you, because this is actually one thing that we had written down too. Is what's the next keyboard that you're going to pick up?
I mean, I would love to get one of those what is it, the Geist machines, whatever he's been showing off.
Ooh, those are neat looking. Yeah, no, those are really cool. Did you see his new project that he posted today?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, that was nice.
I mean, I don't know how far away those are to coming out, but I would love to get one of those. One of the issues I've been having is I forget what keyboards I pre-ordered and which ones I just did interest checks for. And I honestly like cannot remember which ones I actually have coming in and which ones I just did an interest check for.
A lot of the times, a lot of time in this hobby, it's like, wait, what Google form did I fill out today? A lot of the time it's that.
Yeah. I know KBD fans just sent whatever their...
The Bella?
It's not the Bella, I don't think so. It's like, it's very similar to the NK65. It's like a, it's like a dark polycarbonate.
Was it the DK65, I think?
Yeah.
The D65? Yeah, something like that.
Yes, I just got that, and I'll probably do that. Let's see, I got one that I pre-ordered on Mass Drop or Drop like a long time ago. It's like their Apple-inspired one. I don't remember the name of it.
Oh, the M0110?
Yeah.
Which is based off a keyboard. Something like that. The Hello one. I think it says Hello at the back.
Yeah. I got that. I don't know when I'll get to building that, but as of right now, the KBD fans is the one that I'll be building next. And then I think I pre-ordered some of the, what was it? I can't remember the name, but it's also the polycarbonate ones. They're 65%. Thinks, yeah.
Think 6.5?
Yeah, I pre-ordered two of those.
Ooh, the V2s. Those are nice.
Yeah.
Those are a good board.
Yeah, so lots of stuff to get to, but like I said, I'm still very behind on other reviews and stuff as well.
It's tough, like especially with all the stuff going on now, you know, in the world.
Yeah.
It's just a lot on your mind too, like keyboards and videos and like work and stuff. Like for me, I love working. I'm a workaholic, but there's always like that thing in the back of my mind right now, especially the last few months. It's just, what if this all stops? What do I do? Yeah. And it's been tough, like with everything going on, especially now we get a second wave. There's gonna be like a third wave. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Hammerhead said it's the best set. Someone says, yeah, it's a nice set.
I'm excited for Hammerhead. That one's actually really cool. I think I got both of the dark and the light.
So, I actually have another question for you, Frank. And I know me and Chase, we actually really interested to see, and even Reagan was really interested to see your question on this. I have it here written down because I really wanted to remember to ask you this. What do you feel the keyboard hobby could benefit from? And what do you think should be changed, in your opinion? Doesn't have to be facts, you know, just things that you think that perhaps that the hobby in general could work on.
The hobby, do you mean just like getting into the hobby, like one thing where if there's like a side to improve on? Kind
of like, even if there was like, you feel like the introductory to the hobby should be better. Someone says flipping. Well, I mean, flipping's inevitable. We're gonna face that no matter what.
Yeah. I mean, I
know,
think
whether it be in stock. Go on, sorry.
I think it's one of the biggest things is just the wait for everything. With keycaps, they're always like at least 12 months out most of the time. Because I know that was one of the things that was like, I guess, like not getting me fully 100% in when I was first getting into the whole hobby, was there was so many different keycaps that you can find, you know, on Google through like renders and stuff. But it's like, okay, this was a render, but did this ever like get produced? Was it just an interest check? So just trying to figure out all of that, and the different types of keycaps at first was definitely confusing to me. I had no idea. I think when I did my mass drop control keyboard video, I was looking at this one set. I don't remember what it was at the time. This was like a few years ago. I remember it was like $180, and back then I was just like, that's not happening. So I went on Amazon and bought like just a really cheap, like $30 set that I wound up using.
Yeah.
I think keycaps, the whole like group buy, interest check, the whole wait for all that stuff is definitely a bit annoying. Just having to wait for something is definitely gonna, I guess, deter people as it is, because they see something and they're gonna want it now, you know, or wait a week or so for shipping. They're not gonna want to wait 6 to 14, 18 months.
Which is always the tough part. I know Space Cables has been doing some stuff with bettering, I guess, his side of the business with in-stock stuff. Right, Reagan?
What I can do, yeah. It's in stock, like I've said in the last stream, it's kind of risky for the vendor for some things like keycap sets.
Yeah.
Just because it's like a long-term investment that the vendor has to hold and then hope that, all the units would possibly sell. And like we said, it's safer with some items, but other items like keycaps, that's just really expensive for like lower margin on that stuff. Especially when you're holding that funds, or kind of got that invested for like 12 months. Could be a little hard, but I'm excited to see it. Like we've said before, again, like with the NK65, that's cool how it's in stock and there's a ton of them. It's getting better, I'd say.
When is your keyboard scheduled to, I guess, ship out?
I believe it's March and April is the window we have for that.
And it's an unlimited group buy, I believe?
Yep, unlimited until the 6th of November.
Okay. So if you guys want in chat, if you guys want to pick it up, you have till November 6th, chat.
I want to have the link.
Show for you guys again. In case anybody hasn't seen it yet, I just did a full, not like a review, but I did like a first look sort of video on Friday of the keyboard. 2 different switches. Choice is yours.
There you go. And I know Chase, he's our a resident budget guy.
Yeah.
So he was pretty pumped up about this, right, Chase?
Yeah, I'm always down for more like sub $200 options.
Yeah,
because
definitely.
There's not enough of them.
And the funny thing is, like, the polycarbonate is the more affordable option, but I think this is my personal opinion, but like I like the polycarbonate look more than some of the like aluminum or metal cases you can get out there. It looks pretty cool. I don't know. I don't know if it's because like it sort of hits on that like nostalgic vibe with like
totally
the see-through Game Boys back in the day and stuff. But I feel like that's just like when I first saw the polycarbonate keyboards, I was like, I need to have all these. So like I said before, like I pre-ordered a bunch. I believe that were all polycarbonate, but now they're becoming more popular. So now I'm going to have just a ton of polycarbonate keyboards.
It totally like plays for me at the very least. Like I had one of those purple Game Boy colors. I think it was a Game Boy Color or Game Boy Advanced or something. And it always reminds me, like when I flip it over and I see the PCB, always reminds me of having like an old Nintendo handheld gaming system.
Yeah, when I did my original NK65 in the Atomic Purple, when I did that build video, I did it like sort of Gengar themed.
Yes,
for Pokemon.
I remember seeing that.
And then I also had like the Pokemon figure, and I brought up my old the Game Boy. I think it was the Game Boy Color. But yeah, and that nice old Atomic Purple. Gotta make it all match.
Which is always fun. I know, and that's the other big thing that I'm noticing more and more of too is everyone, and I think this is such a cool thing, the color matching of switches. With the more keycaps been coming out too, a lot of people have been matching like literally down to the cable, right, Regan? You know, that's been a popular thing too. Yeah,
some people.
And it's so cool to see, even color match desk pads. It's so cool, and that's what I really like about this hobby. But if you guys have questions in chat, by the way, please feel free and ask them, and we'll try to read. We'll try to read some. Chase, did you have some more questions?
For Mr. Frank? I did have another one for Frank. I guess over the last, like, since you've been getting into the keyboard hobby more, do you still, I mean, I'm sure you still do from just having a YouTube channel or this, like, are there any newer off-the-shelf keyboards that you would recommend to people, like, looking to pick up a mechanical keyboard from a membrane keyboard, I guess? Like, somebody just not willing to dip their toes into the, like, straight into the custom side, but just off-the-shelf keyboards.
So one of my favorites from this year, I don't remember the exact name, but it's, I want to say the HyperX Alloy Origins Core. Whatever one of the newer HyperX TKL keyboards was that had their Aqua switches. That was a great keyboard, and their Aqua switches, I don't know what they did different, but they're tactile, but they are super smooth. So they're like borderline reds, but you still get that tactility to it. So I love that keyboard. One of the like most popular, like top selling things from my channel, like through like Amazon affiliates and stuff, and I've showed it off a lot because it's such a big hit, is the TechWare Phantom. And like TechWare has really great, you know, budget peripherals, but their keyboards are usually like $40 to $60, anywhere in between there. And you get the hot swap PCB, so people can switch out the switches if they don't want. I think they can come with Temu blues, I want to say.
Sure.
Or yeah, one of those. So, I mean, just for $50 to even dip your toes into it, you know, because then you could look around at different switches, see what you like, swap them out, and you're not breaking the bank really because it's just around $50. But I know TechWare over the past year or so, they definitely gotten a lot bigger. And I don't even know if their Phantom or Phantom L has been like in stock for a long time. But those are, I would say, probably like the two that always come to mind to me when you don't think of, you know, just a crazy custom.
Yeah, I just looked up the TechWare Phantom and pulled up the TechWare Phantom 87 on Amazon. It says only one left in stock. So you said you don't know if they're in stock. Apparently, they're in very limited stock.
Yeah, and over this year, a few months ago, they released a TechWare Phantom L, which is like the low profile version of it. And I don't even know if that was in stock for more than like 24 hours. And then every time I check back, it's been out of stock. So I don't know if they just had a really limited stock because of COVID, but once they were in and they sold out, I don't know if they've gotten them back.
I always wonder if companies are like, I wonder why this is selling, and don't realize there's like a YouTuber or something. And they're just like, why is this selling? I don't understand.
Yeah, so I mean, with like the Amazon affiliate stuff, like the whole dashboard, like you can track like pretty much everything that you've sold and like how many units of things you've sold. So you guys are familiar with like my setup and stuff, and how it's made, how I have the Alex drawers, and then I have those like little furniture legs supporting the actual desktop.
Yep.
I've sold more of those than anything ever on my channel.
The furniture
and
legs.
they're just the furniture legs. It is ridiculous. So
That's
like, I
awesome.
wonder if this company, whoever's selling these furniture legs, like has an idea of like why or like what they're being used for, because they're not being used as typical furniture legs.
What's funny is a friend of mine just moved into a new apartment and built himself a new desk and did it with the drawers on the side too. And I was helping him build a keyboard. And I was sitting at his desk and he goes, "Do you think I need to get those little legs like RandomFrankP has under his desktop?" And I was like, if that's what you want, if you want to raise it up a little bit. But it's just funny that you say that because, yeah, I'm sure those have had quite a few sales just because that is so like identifiable, I guess, with your setup. And it was a cool decision to make with it.
So when I was first, this is hilarious, but when I was first kind of like constructing the setup, this was back in, I guess, 2016. I originally went to IKEA and was trying to find something similar to them, but they weren't in stock at mine. So I bought like 4 or 5 packs of their just stainless steel little salt and pepper shakers. And they look identical to this, and they were around the same exact height. So I was like, oh, this is perfect. They're like $4 too. It's like, all right, I'll use those. Had them all set. I even like drilled through them, put the wooden desktop on, and just collapsed immediately.
Oh god.
So I was like, okay, I'm not gonna use salt and pepper shakers.
So it just smashed them?
Oh yeah. Yeah. Because
That must have been some thin aluminum.
It was
or
probably some sort of aluminum, yeah.
Yeah.
Nothing too solid from IKEA there.
Well, that's even the one thing too. Like with the amount of stuff I have on this side of my desk, I got a heavy amp, I got a heavy computer, light stacked up onto that. And it's all sitting on this drawer. I'm like, I hope one day this thing doesn't, because I know IKEA stuff. Like it's good, but IKEA stuff is what, cardboard inside. Like it's that what is it? That hollow wood or whatever they put inside the filler.
Does this inside.
Yeah,
the composite board stuff.
The composite board stuff. I'm always like biting my lip when I go to bed. I kid you not. I'm always like, it's gonna collapse tonight. I'm gonna lose all my stuff. It's true. But let's read some questions. Let's see what you guys had to say and ask RandomFrankP. Someone said they like your beard, which I agree. Your beard's beautiful.
Yes, thank you.
The beard Frank. Yeah, it's nice. Someone said, are switch films necessary? That's totally up to you, my guy. Totally. If you feel like you need them, some switches definitely feel better with them. Frank, have you had experience with switch films at all yet?
Yeah, I want to say it was the Gateron yellow switches.
Sure.
I did.
Yeah.
I didn't notice a huge difference with those. Because I think I had the milky tops and just the black bottoms. I did like a Frankenstein build because they didn't have those exact ones in stock. But yeah, I didn't think the switch films in that case did too much that I could notice. But I know definitely in other ones where it's a lot more loose, it would be beneficial.
Yeah, I feel it's the same way. And here's a nice question too. And I want everyone to answer this one here, even chat. What set do you want but can't get for keycaps?
Oh.
What's the... Do I want to use the word grail keycap set? Or I guess what's the keycap set that you wish you had gotten into? You got GMK Rudy, Redacted, Mizu, Metaverse. I mean, you might still have a chance to Redacted though, Zerd. Redacted hasn't even been shipped out yet. Islander. I think there might be extras for Islander.
For me, I'd probably definitely say it'd be GMK Vaporwave because I have the PBT Vaporwave set and I really like that like colorway of keycaps, and I think that GMK Vaporwave would be that's one I definitely want to pick up at some point.
What about you, Reagan?
I'm upset I missed Olivia and Mizu, GMK Mizu.
Those are all pretty recent too.
Yeah, I just literally overlooked him.
I do that too. I do the same thing where like I enter for like an interest check, or like I just think about it. I'm like, yeah, I'll pick this up, and then I just forget about it in 20 days.
Yeah, I just lose a whole month of my life. I don't even know where it went, but I missed the group buy somehow. It was advertised literally everywhere on every platform. Don't know how.
What about you, Frank?
I don't have a solid answer that I could think of.
Which is a good thing when you think about it.
I don't own too many. I only own like, I want to say 3 GMK sets, so I don't even have too much. I really like DualShot. I know I missed. I know they just had the SA, and I guess last year was the GMK one for that.
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that because again, I saw that with the Geist render, and I was like, this is absolutely perfect. I need this. And there was another one I saw recently. It wasn't Nautilus Nightmares, but it was along those lines of like the darker kind of teal. Can't remember the name of it. I've seen it probably just on Instagram. I feel like it's where I see everything. I don't remember the name.
Might have been Hammerhead.
Was it Hammerhead? Let me look up quick.
Might have been SA Dream Eater, people are saying. By the way, Buzzkill, thank you so much for the 3 tier 1 subs. I appreciate that. But a lot of people are saying Mizu. We got GMK Dual Shot. We got SA Hydro, GMK DMG. That was a nice set too. That was a nice set.
A lot. That'd probably go really NK65.
Yeah. Kuroshiro. That's a nice set too. What happened? Sorry, Reagan.
No, yeah, I was saying Christopher Yee just did that. Actually, the DMG on an NK65, the purple one. Actually, it looks pretty good.
Oh, did he?
Dual Shot. Yeah, I missed Dual Shot, man. I should have jumped in on the SA one.
Yeah, I saw someone put SA Nautilus. Yes, that's a very rare set. GMK Future Funk was very nice too. I'm still waiting for mine to come in. You guys, some of these you guys are saying in chat too. You guys might have chances at extras. Some of them haven't even shipped out yet. So
yeah, I was loving the I got, because I missed it, but I think it was Night Runner, GMK Night Runner.
Yes, and that's a nice.
They were out for a while, and they had, I guess, a few extras. So I was happy to hop on that whenever that was a few months ago. But yeah, I'm gonna be using that on the KBD build I have coming.
Oh, you got an extra of that.
Yeah.
Man, that's a nice set. There's a lot of people who are like, I'm a big fan. I actually picked it up for a client recently, and then I looked at it and I was like, my God, I kind of want my own set. And they're not cheap on the aftermarket. They're not cheap. No. GMK Blue on Black. Yeah, that's a nice set too. RandomFrankP set. When? I'm reading up here at the top.
Yeah, so last year I was actually thinking of doing my own GMK set, but one of the issues is just the certain color of like a dark green and teal is very, very difficult to reproduce. So I looked at, and I talked with a few different people, but I know there's a big problem with Solarized Dark, how the renders look completely different than really what. And then there was kind of a similar issue, I guess it depends on who you talk to, with the Nautilus Nightmares, where the issues, or where the renders you see, and then what the actual product was just slightly different. Like I still think it looks really nice, but that's also a shade that depends a lot on the actual like lighting it's in. So you can take in the right lighting and it'll look great, but if you're like, you know, taking photos of the keyboard outside, it's going to look like very like fluorescent and like neon almost. Yep. Just the set I wanted to do was very close to those colors, but just knowing how difficult it would be to fully reproduce it to that exact like color kind of deterred me for a bit. And I know there's a lot more like the money going up front and just all the stuff with that. And then again, I know they're pretty behind, I believe.
Oh yeah,
GMK. So once COVID hit, I was kind of like, there's so many sets out there that I already like. I don't need to make one and put more just out there. That'll just be a whole other headache. And
how close are the colors on your NK65? Would you say to like what you were kind of picturing?
So the exact color I was going for is midnight green, which is like the color of the Philadelphia Eagles.
Okay.
Yeah, so again, it depends on the lighting, but the keyboard itself, like the actual polycarbonate case, it's like a very darker teal, I would say. But when you put on like the RGB lights, so obviously like with VIA and stuff, you can change up the lighting. So when you make it that color, I feel like that really accentuates the board itself and makes it a lot nicer. So I would say it's a little bit lighter than the actual like midnight green color. I forgot the Pantone and stuff, but I mean, in terms of, like I said, like kind of making that actual color and getting it to be reproduced in this way, probably this is the closest we probably get to it.
Gotcha.
One of the things that we did was we were trying to find that perfect color sample. And I bought a few different like dark teal, dark green water bottles off of Amazon, and that's what we actually use to like color match for the samples of the keyboard. And
really?
This one was the closest one.
That's always a cool little story. Like you picked up a water ball and like, this is the colors we really like.
Yep.
Yeah.
Man, Chase is gonna cancel the group by now. He knows it's all about the Eagles.
Look, he's so disappointed.
I won't say anything. I don't say anything.
Oh man, that's funny. Yes, 8008 was inspired by a sports bra. I think Dixie's in the chat right now too, so I think he has a story about that on the page too, I believe. So a little I think quick paragraph about that too, which is interesting how we can take real world things and yeah, there's 8008 right there, which is a nice little set.
The only GMK set that I own, and I am not upset about that.
Someone said, inspired by the coolest water bell I can find on Amazon. I present to you the NK65 RandomFrankP Edition.
Let me real quick try to go back and see if I can find that link and post it.
Sure. Yeah, it's on the box too. I totally forgot. Honestly, those new GMK boxes, I take them out, they end up in the trash. I don't like them. Do not like them. They're all odd sizes and they just fall apart in my hands. So I put everything in a plastic bag now.
Yeah, I've got a little cabinet going over there. I'm trying to keep more organized for most of my keyboard stuff.
Oh, isn't that the toughest part too?
Yeah.
Yeah. When is the Alex set? I don't know if we're gonna do another set. I don't know if I have another set in mind, y'all.
Okay, so I found the bottle. I'm gonna post it in chat for anybody interested.
Do it.
Oops, that was a.
Don't worry about it. Amazon links here.
At all, was it?
Are crazy. GMK facial hair when? I don't know, guys. What a Chad link? It is a Chad link, huh? It's a big boy link. It's gonna sell out tomorrow? Yeah, maybe.
The bottle?
Yeah. We're gonna play this back and be like, damn, I can get a matching water ball to go with this.
I hope you used your affiliate link there, Frank.
I think it might have been just naturally, yeah.
Good.
I saw a shaker cup. I was inspired. I think the set was based off a mecha mat. Would be sick. Well, I mean, so that mecha mat that I did, there's a lot of sets based off of those colorways. I'm sure you guys can find sets off that. But speaking of desk pads that match things, Frank, are we going to see a matching desk pad?
Yeah, that's another thing we are currently working on. So obviously the black topo took off. We recently got those restocked again, and we also had in stock the white or like the gray variant of that. But also, yeah, we're working on an exact sort of matching topo pad to the actual NK65 board itself. So I haven't seen like that. We got the idea going, and I know it's, I believe, in production. I haven't gotten a sample yet to check out like the different colors and how it's going to be, again, fully just reproduced and how it's going to look in person. So I'm hoping it's very close to this. But yeah, our plan was initially to have it for the actual release of this keyboard so we can kind of tie it up side by side. But that should be coming out before the holidays. I hope people can pre-order it. If anybody did pick up the special NK65 and you want a nice tealish, darkish kind of green color to match the topo pad, we'll have one.
And you know what? I really like those colors because it's even reminiscent of I know Zeal has like a color for their turquoise Telios too.
Yeah.
So I really like those colors. And I saw a question earlier. Someone just said it in chat, and obviously we know the answer now is based off of a water. Like the color was sampled maybe from a water bottle. But people were asking, is your set inspired by Baja Blast, which has become like a meme? I don't know. I think it was in Teja's server or something. But they're asking.
Yeah, unfortunately not. The whole midnight green colorway for me is just a nod to the Philadelphia Eagles. I'm like a very diehard football fan and Eagles fan. And the midnight green's always been like one of my favorite colors because of that.
Yeah, which is interesting. Which is interesting, yeah. Teal's one of the best colors. Big fan. I agree. Let's go Birds. Go Panthers. Guys, here's the thing. Maybe Reagan and Chase understand this, and obviously Frank understands this. I don't understand any of this stuff. First of all, I'm from Canada. We don't really do much here. All right? We build igloos and ride polar bears. Second of all, I'm not really into to sports at all. So I don't really know what the hell we're talking about. We're just screaming out random animal names to me, okay? So I don't know if you guys like cage fighting these things or something. But same in Sweden. Yeah. From Philly, gotta respect the birds. RandomFrankP. Don't forget the maple syrup. That too. We tap trees for maple syrup and sell it to the rest of the world for a very high price. RandomFrankP kind of look like Carson Wentz, though. I don't know who that is, unfortunately.
That's the Eagles quarterback.
Is he? Okay.
We don't look alike at all.
Someone says tell Frank to lube the stabs in his NK65. I mean, those. I'm assuming he did the impressions of the NK65 with its stock. So that probably makes the most sense of why he didn't do that.
That was like one of the big questions was like, why didn't you lube the stabs? I'm like, well, if I were to lube the stabs, that wouldn't be an accurate representation of what you're getting, you know. So I kept them stocked and unlooped, and I even did like a pinned comment about that so people would see that, but people really don't read the comments before they leave their comments. So
yeah, they skip right over all the helpful stuff and just go straight to comment. Some really good stuff to know about that too, guys. There's tons of guides for that too. It's actually pretty easy to do with the NK65. It is hot swaps. You can actually take these things apart and do it all yourselves. There's like I said, lots of guides on how to do it. I'm going to be doing a written guide soon too for stabilizers. But it's actually very, very simple, so it's not too crazy, you know. Can confirm people just don't read comments. Yes, Glar says, "How you doing, my guy? How you doing?"
Well, the YouTube comments are just kind of a mess to begin with, so
that's the one thing
that people don't read comments.
And that's the one thing I have to criticize about. Sorry, what's up, again?
It's either a mess or just toxic.
Yeah, and that's the one thing I wanted to ask about you, like your experience with YouTube comments. Is it just me, or does it just always feel messy?
Oh, it's horrible.
Yeah,
because you don't know who you're talking to or who you're commenting back to. 9 times out of 10, it's literally some like 8-year-old kid who's on the phone. His parents aren't in the room, so he feels like he can curse. You know, he'll curse you out real quick for no reason, just to feel cool. But a lot of times when someone's like very just aggressive and angry in the comment section, I'll just like comment back like very, you know, passive aggressively, just like keeping it chill. And then most of the time they're just like, oh man, like thanks for responding. I just had a question about this. Like, have a good one. I'm just like, so why were you so mad to begin with, where you were like cursing me out? I answer your question or just like kind of correct you if you were like accusing me of being wrong in some way, and then you're all cool.
What's funny is I've had similar experience. So I run social media accounts for like pro video game players, and specifically some of these Fortnite guys that I work with, pro Fortnite players. You'll have kids who will comment on their posts being like, oh, you're so trash at this game, and then you leave a comment like hey, I appreciate you, like, you know, interacting with my post, and they're like, oh, thanks so much, you're the best. Like, it's like they want to be mean until they realize they're face to face with you, and they're like, sorry about that.
Exactly.
You're the best
That's
person
even virtually that they're like that. You know, it's not even real life. Like,
it's so weird.
Like, oh, sorry, shit.
No, dude, I have the best story about this. I think I've told chat maybe a few times, but anyways, just tuning in, and Frank, for you as well too. I don't really deal with too much of that stuff, thankfully. Usually I'll just delete it or just ignore it entirely. But the one time I actually decided, I'm like, let me invest some time into this. I had someone go, so for full reference, my teeth aren't 100% straight, chat. So I get comments about that sometimes. Doesn't really bother me at all. Don't give a shit. But I had someone go, you should probably invest money on fixing your teeth rather than spend it on keyboards. And I was like, that's pretty clever. I like that one there. That's pretty nice. So I decided to click on the guy's profile, and I was like, let me take a look. All right, I just want to take a peek. And it was like an 11-year-old kid, and he wanted to become a pro Fortnite player, which there's nothing wrong with, by the way. Chat, if you guys want to become pro Fortnite players. It's a little bit of a meme, but it's nothing wrong with it. There's tons of people who do. But he had his like, I love you, mom, with a heart, and his mom tagged to that. I was like, let me just see what his mom thinks about this message he's sending random people on the internet. So I took a screenshot and sent it, being like, hey, like, just want to explain to you that could be damaging to people who maybe don't take it the way that I take it, and this, you know, could lead to something else. I get like an apology 5 minutes later from the kid. It was the best thing ever.
I can't believe you told my mom, dude.
Yeah. You're so lame. I'm never watching your stuff again.
So one of the things I'll do to people who are like just like if I'll see a name who's like constantly hating on me, but like things are either like spelt like very wrong or I can tell they're young, all I'll say is like, I'm emailing your parents. And 9 times out of 10, they'll either delete their comment, so like just kind of like, you know, save face, or they'll just apologize.
Well, that's like the most terrifying thing. You don't have to threaten a kid with like, you know, the police. They're gonna be like, whatever. You tell your mom, it's like, bro, that's game time that's being taken away potentially.
It was internet time, buddy.
Yeah. Someone said, can we take a look at your keyboard? What are we talking about? Which keyboard? Whose keyboard? Whose keyboard do you want to see, my guy? And then someone also said, what's one of Frank's non-tech hobbies? That's actually a good question. I'm interested too.
Non-tech hobbies. So like, I guess gaming wouldn't count, right? That's tech.
I guess not.
I mean,
well,
would
not
you guys
reviewing hobbies?
I don't know. Would you consider that tech? I mean, everything technically is a bit of tech these days. Like, unless he goes for like nature hikes, but if he uses any sort of tech there, it becomes like a tech hobby of some sort. Gaming is tech? I guess so. You're right. Whatever. I'm stupid. Let's go
outside of YouTube.
Outside of YouTube?
and content creation?
I mean, like I said, I'm a big sports guy, big into football. I don't know if I'd call that a hobby. I don't really do much anymore outside of the whole YouTube and tech stuff. Like, I mean, I still try to game when I can. But yeah, I feel like once I became like a full-time content creator, like I just really don't have time to do really a lot of other stuff outside of YouTube. I know when I was younger, I was like really big into drawing and stuff like that. Like I used to love to draw.
Yeah.
But now I don't have really the time or the patience really.
That's the thing with drawing. I used to do a lot of art too. It's you got to have invested time, and you got to be in the mood. If you're not in the mood, it's like doing videos, and you have to be in the mood for it. Frank sound test. So someone said they wanted to see all of our current keyboards. Oh. So I guess what we're all using. So Frank's using his NK65, which is now available on novel keys, my guys. All right.
Yes, these are the Emerald Silk switches. So nice and linear. And then just for reference, that one is the Jade. The Jade.
I like clicky switches. I do.
When is it live until you said November 6th?
November 6th, yeah. Is that a space cable, someone said?
That is a space cables, yep.
Yeah.
He sent this out. Got a real quick turnaround. Got it up in time for the video. And also see we have Mike in chat from Novel Keys. What's going on, man?
Hey. And then when are we playing some games? Novel Keys wants to know.
Yeah, I don't... So, I'm always down to play some games, but I feel like, again, I just rarely have time. And 9 times out of 10 when I'm gaming, it's for like a product review. So I'll be like testing like a mouse or a headset or whatever. And I really only play like Battlefield anymore.
I feel like Battlefield's still,
Yeah, and I hate Battlefield to death. it's so just like bad and broken in most regards, but like it's one of the only games that I can still kind of enjoy. I don't know.
It's just kind of a mindless grind at most. It's just a way to kind of get out of your head.
Yeah, and I'm still so behind on like just so many games that I picked up over the years, never finished or never beat. I know like I still have to finish Red Dead Redemption. Like I got that like the day it came out. I played it for like a week straight, and then I felt like this is what I'll do. I'll get a game, I'll play it a ton right away, and then I'll kind of feel like I'm playing it too quick. I don't want to beat it too quick, so I'll tell myself like put it down for a week, come back to it, and then I'll just never revisit it. I've done that so many times. Like I literally haven't played Red Dead Redemption probably since like the first week it was out.
I did the same thing with Control. I bought it, wanted to test all the new features for RTX, and I was like, this is fun. I think I played it one time after that, put it down, never played it again. By the way, thank you, Box, for the $55, my guy. I appreciate you. Alex, let's see your keyboard. You want to see mine? That's my system, guys. It's not yours. That's the back of my keyboard. This is the GeonWorks F1 8X. We built it this morning.
Ooh.
Oh, it's kind of heavy. And then we have the EPBT X GOK. It's beautiful. Quite nice. It's very pretty. We have another engraving here at the top. Sounds pretty nice. I'll give you a quick little sound test. Here we go. Alex, I pinged my whole server, my guy. Let's see.
What switches are in this, by the way?
They're a Durox switch, which are lubed with 205G0 films. Spring swap to 72 gram slows. But yeah, they're quite nice. Quite nice. Chase, what are you rocking?
I am rocking a Tofu 65.
Ooh.
Aluminum black with Holy Pandas in it and GMK 8008.
Very nice. Very nice.
Yeah.
Mr. Spoose? Ooh.
Stellar 65.
Okay.
With the Pegaso project set on it, the PBT set by Mito.
Oh, dude, that's a nice set actually. I quite like that one there.
It's like Godspeed's little brother without the red accent, but it's kind of like a little toned down Godspeed, but yeah.
I quite like that. By the way, Steelwind, thank you for the 2,000 bits. I appreciate it. I do, man.
Right.
Frank's muted? No, he's just not. I don't think he's just not talking.
Unless I did it accidentally.
Oh, did you? Have you been talking?
I don't think so. I think I'm good.
Nope, you were good. No, we're good.
Alex, did you get your Keeb straight from Gian? I did. Yes.
What were you gonna say, Reagan?
I was gonna ask Frank if he's played Among Us yet.
I have not. No. I honestly, I've seen some gameplay. I don't know anything about it. Like, I don't know the point of it. I know there's a lot of craze and hype right now. I never played Fall Guys. That's another one that had its massive craze.
I feel like Fall Guys had like 2 weeks of fame. Maybe it's just me.
I jumped on that train, but man, Among Us has been fun. I haven't really had too much time to play lately, but can we get you into an Among Us game at some point?
Yeah, I'd be down.
5 minutes to learn, and it's like hilarious.
So like, what is it about? Because like I said, I've been seeing a lot of it, but I don't know.
Yeah,
it's a game.
It's like usually a 10-player lobby, and there's usually 2 imposters among the crewmates, and no one knows who the killers are, who the crewmates are. So you have to go through and complete tasks as crewmates, and then if the crewmates get to finish all their tasks before the imposters slowly pick them off, then they win. If the imposters kill everyone down to where it's 2 people and 2 imposters left, then the imposters win. Okay. And the whole time as an imposter, you're faking that you're doing tasks, you're kind of creating alibis, and it's all comes down to lying and like kind of like psychology skills in a way. But I don't know, it's always funny content when I see people play, and it's like, it's not like a shooter. Like I'm big into like shooters and stuff when I used to have time to play stuff like that, but this is just a chill game. Like, you know, no one can talk during it. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, it kind of sounds like this Gmod game I used to play back in the day.
Okay.
I think it was called like Murder Town or Murder.
Murder House.
Oh, that sounds familiar. Yeah, that sounds familiar actually.
Yeah.
Or kind of like Town of Salem, if you ever got to play that. Same type of thing.
I played a few rounds of Town of Salem. It was not for me, but honestly, it's so much fun. And the other big thing too, is you're like with other people that you know, it becomes so much fun to pick up on little things that you might be like, "Okay, this guy's lying. I know it.
Yeah,
he's a jackass. I know what he's doing." Trouble in Terrorist Town. That's what it was called.
No, not Trouble in Terrorist Town. There's I want to say it's just called Murder. I don't know.
There's one called like, was it like Murder House or something, or Murder? Because I remember seeing this. I've never played it.
Yeah, I really can't remember the name. All I remember was back in the day when Gmod was like #1.
Oh man,
those are the good days. Half-Life 3.1, please. One of these days. But one last question I wanted to ask you before we can get into some silliness and just chat about whatever. What advice do you have to new people being introduced to the hobby of keyboards, that is?
In terms of like just getting into building their own?
Yeah. Like if someone came up to you right now and you have 20 minutes to talk to them, or even 5 minutes to talk to them, let's say even 60 seconds, what could you tell them? Like, as a, not where to buy things obviously, but what advice would you have?
Probably to check out some sort of like switch tester, because I know for me that was also one of the things that really like opened my eyes to the hobby and the community, was not really even knowing that there was more than just like a few of the cherry switches and like the Gaterons and stuff, but that there's literally hundreds out there, different, you know, obviously the linear, tactile, clicky. So I think investing in, and there's so many different types of switch testers out there too. You don't have to get like one of the crazy, like the 76 key ones, but just like something like that where you can just, you know, try out different ones, see what you like, see like what feels best to you. Because if you're going to be using it, you know, 24/7, you're going to want a comfortable switch, something that, you know, sounds good, feels good to you. So definitely check out one of those, find that switch you like, and then, you know, start saving up because it gets expensive.
Yes.
And kind of like look around, because now over the last year, I feel like the hobby has opened up so much, and there's so many different new things constantly coming out, so many different options, where like even like we have now with the NK65 entry, like you don't have to drop a few $100s on a complete build. You could start off with that for under $100, and then, you know, get switches and keycaps from there. So yeah, definitely start off with a switch tester, possibly find out what switch you like, and then kind of look at the affordable budget options out there for like a first kind of, you know, investment into building a keyboard.
Which is important that you say that, because I feel like a lot of people, especially, will come into, I'm sure you get these comments too, like, what switch is the best switch?
Yeah.
You know? And it's always really tough to answer those. for anyone watching this or listening to it in the future. It's always really tough to answer that question because it's so subjective to personal preference. Yeah. It's really hard, and I feel so bad because like I want to give you guys my personal preference, but I also don't want to sway you guys into something and then be like, man, what Alex or Frank or Reagan or Chase said was wrong. You know, it's tough. It's really hard to answer those questions, and I think 100% that even grabbing like a hot swap board like the NK65 and then playing with a few different switches, right? It's tough. It's a little easier to go that route, and you know, even picking up a switch tester than for me to tell you something. You go full in, you buy 70 of these switches, you spend the time to mod them, and you're like, man, I really hate these. And I totally agree with that. Roamer G switches. Hey, now let's not talk about my favorite switch. What are your thoughts on Roamer G switches?
I mean, they're not a bad alternative for. I mean, I don't know why they even really made them, because
thank you.
They could have. they have access to other switches and switch types, so I guess maybe they wanted to keep it kind of in house with their own type of thing. Yeah. But even now they have their own. I think, what do they call them? The GX switches?
Do they actually?
I don't remember the name, but I know they recently put out their actual mechanical switches. But yeah, I was never a big fan of Roamer G's.
No, they made them so they can get RGB in the center and all this RGB stuff, but like whatever. It's so weird to me. I had my experience with Roamer G's. It was one of my very first mechanical, in quotations, keyboards, and I remember getting it, and I'm like, oh man, this is the pinnacle of awesome. And then I got anything else, and I was like, damn, this is not the best feeling keyboard in the world right now. They have their own Cherry clone now too. Yeah, I feel like there's going to be a lot of those companies popping up too. They're doing Cherry clones. Like, even a lot of companies I noticed go to Gatoron right away, which I don't mind Gatoron switches at all. Gatoron switches are awesome. But I know someone. Oh, go on. Sorry, Chase.
I was gonna say this kind of piggybacks, or it's just kind of related to the last question Alex asked, but in a different industry, I guess, with you doing content creation, and I see Alex gets this question a lot. Alex gets a question from people a lot of, you know, I want to start Twitch streaming, like keyboard builds or this or that. Like, what's your advice? So as somebody who has had a pretty successful run on YouTube thus far, you know, there are a lot of people out there who will now say their dream job is to be a YouTuber, which I'm sure is crazy for you to hear still to this day, that you kind of have this dream job that a lot of people would love to pursue. What advice would you have for those people, I guess, looking to start to get into content creation on YouTube or any social media platform for that sake?
Yeah, my advice is always to just start, because otherwise, what's holding you back? Like, no one's gonna tell you now's when you have to start or now's when you should start. If you're thinking about it, just jump right in, because even now, like, cameras are so good on smartphones. Like, you see the quality of all the new camera phones out, or camera phones, okay, showing my age, phones, obviously the cameras, and like, you could easily put up great content with just, you know, the camera on your phone. And 9 times out of 10, like, people aren't going to really care as much about your actual camera quality if the content's good. So if you have a passion about something, you want to just start, there's no better way to, you know, test the waters than just, you know, jumping in and doing it. Because, like I said, no one's going to tell you, okay, now you have to start, or now you should start, because that's all up to you. If it's something you want to do and you're passionate about, then you'll keep it going. You'll learn over time. You'll improve. So there's really no reason for someone not to just, you know, give it a try.
I agree with you totally on that too. Like, with the whole, even if you have a smartphone, and that's one thing that I constantly preach as well. Because I feel like, and I don't know why this, I might have an idea, because they probably want to see like a RandomFrankP quote, you know, video.
Yeah,
and that's the tough part, right?
Yeah, and one of the things, especially in the tech space, you know, 9 out of the 10 massive tech YouTubers, they have those $50,000 red cameras at minimum. And I feel like a few years ago, once that like quality shift happened, it made it probably more intimidating for people to want to get in, because they're looking at, you know, MKBHD with his red camera, and then that whole crew with like Austin and like TLD, Jonathan Morton, like, and they all had those crazy reds, and they jumped from all different stuff. But you just see that like cinema grade quality of these RE cameras and the reds. And Blackmagic's one company now that is more like on, I would say, the affordable side.
Yeah, yeah.
So I mean, it kind of like goes against what I'm saying, but like when I bought my Blackmagic Ursa Mini back in 2015, I want to say, I feel like that was one of the things that helped kind of like jumpstart my channel a bit more, because I had that, just, you can tell I wasn't shooting on a DSLR anymore. So I feel like for me, that did kind of help out. And I know it goes against what I just said, but like, if you are somebody who just wants to try it out and create content, then you could easily get away with using your camera on your phone, because the quality now is so much better than it used to be. And there's tons of people who don't have, the best gear, the best camera stuff, and they're still making, great content.
You're saying it's safe to invest later on, maybe once you're like established, but there's no reason to like, buy this $10,000 thing or just wait to put out content until you have this perfect setup, just turn your phone around, put out some content.
Exactly. And you can even like live stream from there's an app where you can like use your smartphone like as a camera for live streaming and stuff. So it's literally in your pocket 24/7. It can do so much. Like, why not just start creating content?
It's so true too. Like, and that's one of the things, like, I get that question a lot too. And I think Hex just said that's literally one of the reasons I was so worried about streaming for the first time. And Alex actually inspired me one day to just get started and not worry about quality. It's so true. Like, even me, I already have the gear. Like, my job before this was product photography, and I did that for 3 or 4 years. So I was fortunate to already own a lot of this gear. But even when I first started doing live streams, and Reagan can attest because Reagan was there, I didn't understand how to hook it all up to the computer and live stream from it. And I didn't own some of the little piece of equipment, and I didn't know if I wanted to spend the money and this is something I wanted to do. And I totally agree with you that even just using something like your phone, these phones, man, these phones are good. Like, guys, if you have anything within the last like 3 or 4 years, they're good. Even past that, like, they're still really good.
Yeah.
And I think the best thing for you guys to do is just give it a go. See if you even like it before spending money and then putting yourself in a bad position financially.
Well, and another thing is, Frank, you said, what year did you get the Ursa, the Blackmagic Ursa?
So I want to say it was the end of 2015 when I got the.
Okay.
But it was right when the Ursa Mini released.
So you've been creating YouTube content for a few years at that point, right?
Yeah, but before that, I had a few different cameras I jumped around on. But it was never anything crazy. Like, it was, I want to say, the Canon Rebel T2i, I think was like one of the first cameras that I bought to do just for YouTube. And then after that was the Panasonic Lumix FZ1000, which was like one of the first like affordable 4K video cameras back then. I say back then, but it was like, what, 6 years ago. But they were both under, I want to say, $500. So it's not even like I was, dropping crazy amounts of money on camera gear. It was literally just like a DSLR quality camera. I had those like the umbrella lights and stuff, like in my dorm room where I'd film. So I wasn't obviously like going full crazy production back then. It wasn't until I probably had around, I would say, like a little over 100,000 subscribers when I first bought my the Blackmagic camera.
Which is still a substantial
point though to invest in.
Still substantial.
Well, at that point, like you, back to the point of like you saying, just to get started, like, just because you have that really expensive camera in front of you doesn't mean like you're going to be comfortable in front of the camera. First of all, like, that takes some time to get used to being in front of a camera. Like, I think you got to grind all that stuff out before you invest into, say, like an Ursa or something like that.
Yeah, you put a camera in front of someone's face, and 9 times out of 10 they're just going to close up because they're not going to know what to do. So you have to be comfortable with yourself, comfortable with just the fact that you're going to be talking to yourself pretty much in a room, just talking to this camera a lot. So that's a big thing. And also, like a lot of times that the camera quality isn't going to matter if you don't know how to use it and you don't have, complementary lighting and stuff, and whether it's like color correcting or editing. You can give anybody a $50,000 red camera, but it's not going to look good if they don't know what they're doing with it, and they don't have like I said, like the proper lighting and stuff.
Yeah, I agree.
It's about the driver, man, not the vehicle.
Exactly. Exactly.
And someone said a good comment here saying, insane for sure. I'm going to tackle I'm going to read it. Anything from Hex. Finally decided to get a 5-inch coil. Hell yeah, dude. And Quinn said, how do y'all deal with mentally with downward trends like losing views or followers when releasing content? Which I think is, like, the mental health aspect of content creation is huge too, which we don't talk about enough. I totally agree with you. How do you deal with that, Frank?
Yeah, so I feel like since I've been doing it full time for a little over 5 years now, like I know the down months, I know when it's going to be dead, and I know like when it's going to be good. But it's still definitely like, you know, demoralizing when you put all this, you know, time and effort into videos, and you know, because it's an off month, that it's not going to do too well. And one of the things about like in the tech space, and more specifically, so like with my channel, which is just like mainly peripheral reviews, is it's one of those weird things where people, they want to watch your videos to see whether they should upgrade, but also say they do buy a new mouse or new headset, new keyboard, they're not going to be coming back to your channel, because if they just bought a new mouse, they're not going to want to watch the next mouse that just came out that might be better than the mouse they just bought.
Yeah.
You know, so it's one of those things where they come, it's kind of like a one-off thing. You find out if you want to buy this headset, you do, and they're gone. So I realize with my channel is very unique in that sense, and a lot of times like they'll just skip through 90% of the video. They'll find out whether it's worth it or not. They'll find out the price, and that's it. So like I know views like day one or like week one views aren't going to be like, you know, ever popping off. Even though I have like 1.6 million subs, I only get like day one on a good day like a little over 100,000 views, which is way less than what's the math on that? Is that like 10% or 1%? Can't really think right now. Probably a lot less than that.
Yeah,
a lot less than
5%. But yeah, I mean, I imagine like the way your channel stylized is like a lot of unique one-time viewers.
Yeah.
Are bouncing constantly, whether that's like
Yeah.
the feature page or whatever, direct search, organic.
Yeah, definitely. And like I'll get people who return and stuff for like, you know, room tour project, which we've been doing
Yeah, that's so much fun
for a while,
Yeah.
and like the cool tech under 50 and stuff. So those will more so like grab in an audience and people like returning and stuff. But yeah, but for reviews, yeah, it's like you said, one-off people. But going back to the original question, just like knowing that a video isn't going to do good or not expecting it to do good, I guess kind of like makes it easier. So when you are let down, you know, like if it didn't take off like you hoped, then it's like, okay, well, I kind of expected that. You know, it's September is usually pretty bad. I know like March and April are usually pretty bad for that stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, there is a whole, like you said, the mental aspect of it where, you know, just trying not to get bummed out 24/7 if your video isn't doing good, or people, you know, just curse you out in the comment section. Like, how do I, okay, like this person's mad at me. What did I do? Like, why did I?
Wasn't there that one guy
off?
who, I think I saw this on your Twitter, who constantly would ask you about, like, you think you put the price of something in the title?
Oh yeah, Keith.
Yeah.
Our boy Keith.
My boy Keith, dude. Does he still ask you?
I haven't heard from Keith in a while.
I wonder how he's doing.
So I hope he's doing all right. But yeah, he was somebody who, I guess he first found my channel from my Grid 600 keyboard last year. And since like he just thought the idea of that keyboard's price was so ridiculous that pretty much like almost every video he would watch after, he would say like, if this is not worth $680, then it's, you know, it's trash. So he would just jokingly relate everything I'm reviewing or showing off to it being, you know, worth $680. So yeah, a few months ago, I just did like a screen cap of all his like recent comments, and it was all just $680 related stuff. So yeah, I wonder how Keith's doing.
Yeah, I remember you posting him on Twitter, and I'm like, man, this guy's like relentless.
I can't get over the people who have that logic, like, oh, it's so expensive for a keyboard, but I'm like, man, you can get a good, better, best situation for any hobby. Like, whether you're a car guy, it's like, imagine the first guy who's driving a Corolla, and he's like, I can't believe this dude would spend $250,000 on a Ferrari. Like,
well, it's
like,
the same
there's
thing.
Enthusiasts in every corner,
and
every
Reagan,
sort of hobby.
It's the same thing with my headphones, man. Like when people ask me about, like, not here on the internet, like when I know people here, like, well, outside of the COVID situation, I guess, but even when I'm talking about friends, like they'll be like, oh, cool headphones. And I'm like, yeah, man. And they're like, how much they cost? I'm like, don't worry about that. I don't even feel like explaining this to you. And then, but it's like that too. But you know what? Then it's weird how now these days, like it's still obscene for people to spend like $1,000 on a keyboard, you know. Meanwhile, it's totally in the realm of like norm to go and spend $3 million on like a Lamborghini or something. At the end of the day, it's still spinning wheels getting you from point A to point B, right? Just nicer looking.
I get that a lot with cables. People are like, oh, just get this on Amazon. And I'm like, I mean, yeah, it'll do the same thing, man. It's not gonna make you game better or do anything, but it's just stylized, man.
What headphones are you rocking today, Frank?
These are the 58X Jubilee from
Yes.
Mashup and Sennheiser.
Those are a good pair of headphones too. I know we talk about audio a lot here too, so it's definitely a cool pair. More coils equals higher APM. I agree. The more coils you have
if
on
you do use the coiled cables from, I mean, you will like shoot better. You'll drive faster in video games. The data gets there quicker. It's just a thing, man.
And if you plug it into your controller,
it's science and shit, man.
The auto aim works better too. Reagan literally has everything mentioned on these streams ready to show. He does. He literally sits there before a stream.
Me
It's
panning to like everything piled up in my room, just ready.
It's like a dental office.
He was gonna run down to his garage and show us his Ferrari, but he decided not to flex on us that hard.
Oh yeah, is that what he was gonna do?
Yeah.
But people were, let's read some comments here. Dude, I started watching your reviews and stuff, but just one-time things. Then I found them really entertaining. The quality is so good and so calming to watch. It's true.
Awesome, man.
Dude, one of the things that, like, I'm the same way with reviews. And one thing that I always bring up is, and I want to know from you guys in the chat who haven't answered this question, and Frank, I'd love to know from you too. Have you ever bought in something and then it's coming to your house? Maybe you've already received it and then you're still watching the reviews about it, just to, like, in your brain, you're like, man, was this purchase worth it?
I'll do that with like camera gear and stuff, like
Same.
different like lenses or just different stuff along those lines. Like I have a few cameras that I picked up over the years if I want to like switch up, you know, for like different shoots and stuff, just different use cases. So I'll do that mainly with camera stuff, just to like get an idea for the quality, kind of like learn the menus and stuff like before you get it in. Yeah, definitely with the reassurance too.
And the reason I asked that is because that's what happened with me with a few products when I was originally on your channel. I was like, man, let's go watch Frank's review one more time. He told me,
please don't shit on
yeah,
it.
like
Please
it's
I already bought it.
It's coming from this, like, maybe I watched some other review and then I was like, let me just go watch Frank's review really quick, and I'd go and be like, he says this is good. I feel reassured.
Yeah, and that's kind of like what I was saying before with where people, they want to be reassured. They don't want to know that there is something new and better out than what they just purchased.
Yeah.
So like a lot of times I'll see people commenting on videos saying like, yes, just bought this keyboard, was just stopping by to make sure like it was as good as I thought. I'm like, yeah, like I guess that makes sense. Like you bought it before watching the review, but now you're watching it just to make sure that you can justify
your nails.
Yeah. It's one of those things mentally where it's like, man, and I have to be, for me, like, you know, I'm fortunate enough that I happen to have a Twitch channel. I happen to have like a full-time job, and occasionally I can buy myself something pretty. But I know some people, and I have to always catch myself and be aware that some people spend a lot of time saving up for something.
Yeah.
So it's very much like, man, like I want to make sure that this purchase that I've saved up for X amount of time is worth it, and I always have to catch myself too. And I think that's the one cool thing about more of the influencer space in the tech scene too, for the most part. You can really find a lot of the guys, you can tell right away, the people who are more honest with things. And that's one of the nice things I always appreciate about you. But one thing that Funky even said too, that a lot of people were saying too, is one of the things that kept me coming back to your channel was your regular segments of reviewing battle stations. Like for me, that was just so, seeing like little things and like, oh, this guy's a plant over there. My God, that's a sexy plant. Like I want a plant there. Right. And it was just always those things for me that meant like, I really like this. Like I want to.
Yeah, Room Tour project. It's definitely been a cool sort of project, you know, no pun intended, over the years. Because I've always been very interested in, you know, like the setup stuff and like, you know, building a nice and visually appealing looking setup. And that was actually one of like my first kind of tech videos on YouTube. Was I just did a room tour because I saw like someone else's room tour. I thought it looked really cool. So then I went out, you know, bought some RGB lights, put them behind my TV back when I was living at home. So that was
2013 room tour.
Yeah, exactly. So like that was one of my first like actual tech videos. And then like I said, I've always just been looking for, you know, different ideas and inspiration and ways to improve the setup. And I don't remember like what even like how I got started, but I know just like from talking to people back again when I was still in college on the actual Battle Station subreddit, just like seeing like where they got certain things. And then I was just doing that so frequently and constantly checking it. I was like, why don't I just make like a series based around this? Like I see how much I'm interested in the setup videos and room tours and stuff. Like why not just do like a compilation? So I did that, and I wanted to do it every single weekend, but obviously things happen, life gets in the way. But I've been trying to do every single weekend. But we're at episode like 229 now, I want to say.
It's crazy to think about.
It's been a little over 5 years at this point.
Yeah,
man, yeah, it's crazy because I've been subbed to you for so long, and then like seeing you shift into, or not shift, but add into your like collection of doing the keyboard stuff is so cool because that's like our worlds kind of met.
It hits
then,
different,
you know, yeah, and then like getting to talk to you in the past has been super cool. But it's just weird because like I used to like always watch you on YouTube, and yeah, now we're here.
Yeah, no, it's cool, and I definitely appreciate it.
It's definitely been one of those things too, where it's like before I started doing any of this too, it's like, man, you looked up to certain people in the hobby. For me, it was like LTT, it was RandomFrankP, it was a few other YouTubers back in the day too, who I just really liked. Might have been smaller back in the day, and it's always been a lot of fun. Like audio people was Z, even though he's a bit eccentric. I always liked watching Z. So I know some people in chat who are into audio was like, come on, Alex, Z. But it's definitely fun. Can we ask about ninjas versus pirates? I don't know what that is. Is that a sports thing?
No, Ninjas versus Pirates was one of my like comedy terrible sketch videos.
Oh, these old ones? Okay.
Yeah, so the thing about that video also is if you watch it now, that video got hit back with like a few years ago when YouTube was like working with their like copyright strike system and stuff. They used to just like completely strip the audio of whatever was copywritten.
Yes, I remember
so that if you go and watch that video, it sounds like garbage because we had a song playing in the background that YouTube stripped out. So now all the audio is just super low and you can like barely hear anything. So it makes it like a lot worse, but we had like a pretty cool soundtrack to the whole thing going. But now you just don't get that vibe anymore because they stripped it.
And now I think it's not they strip it, they just demonetize it, right?
Yeah.
Which is a little bit more fair. The worst thing is when you buy something and immediately after the new version comes out. I mean, there's always gonna be something new. The thing about tech is there's always something new. And that I think that's even keyboards. Like it's the keyboard world right now is moving at a pace where it's like it's even tough for me who I'm investing in keyboards full time. It's so hard to keep up with things. It's so tough. But if you guys have any final questions, because I think we're gonna start wrapping it up because we're almost at our 2-hour mark. If you guys have any final questions for Frank,
I have
Chase,
one.
Space Cable.
Yeah.
So have you thought about scaling and like scaling more obviously and like bringing in some more assistants and like maybe starting to do something like, I don't know, gaming or just a different styles of segments, stuff like that to just like put you into that next bracket, really bust through?
Yes, it's one thing I've always tossed around the idea of. But at the same time, like since I work out of my house, like my studio is based out of my basement in our house that we bought. So I know legally it gets a bit more complicated with that since I'm working out of a residential house. I would have to file and make it like completely different under a different like LLC. And I think there's even like different regulations for different like neighborhoods and stuff.
Like with zoning, you're saying, with like running a business?
Yeah. So I know it's different on that side of things. But also at the same time, like I'm someone who I don't know if like I could like hire somebody and trust somebody to be working with me like out of my basement in my house, like when.
Okay, I mean that's a good point, man. But like I remember, just to quickly interject, like getting to that point mentally when thinking like, I don't trust anyone to like bring into my space or work.
Yeah.
But it's like if you don't, then you're gonna be like, I don't know, editing the same things yourself and like, I mean, you're doing great at it already, but like.
Yeah, so like I have thought about looking for an external studio. Even before we bought the house, I was looking for an external studio because we were renting an apartment and I was just working out of like the spare bedroom in there.
Yeah.
And I was still planning on getting an external studio, but when we found this house and it had like the fully furnished and like completed basement and it had tons of like windows and stuff for all the natural lighting, like it was just a perfect fit. It would definitely be helpful to have, another set of hands to help me out with whether it is filming or just getting like preliminary stuff done where I don't have to worry about the little things, spend more time on other videos. It would definitely be helpful. I don't know if it's in the scope anytime soon. But I definitely thought about it.
If you got a small office somewhere, just like fully, I mean, even if it's inside another building with other people or something, like that would be so sick.
I know, and I always see like MKBHD and his crazy studio.
Man, yeah.
The new warehouse they moved into and stuff. Like it's just 100% dreams and goals. But yeah, and they got a whole crew there.
But you're killing it with what you have right now, and I think that's an important thing to think about too, right?
Yeah, and I appreciate that. And at the same time, that's also like one of the things that I kind of like pride myself on in a weird way. Is like I've done all this by myself.
Yeah.
And like I got here, so it's like while I would definitely benefit from another, someone else helping me out, it's like I've gotten this far doing it by myself. Like, should I just keep going? I'll eventually probably, if the YouTube keeps trending up and stuff, and it's going in the right direction, I'll probably need to eventually hire.
I'm just gonna say, I know you could get an intern right now, at least. Like I know there's people that you put one tweet out, man.
Yeah, I know.
Keith is gonna be like, I'm here.
If I wasn't working directly out of my house, it would be a lot easier for me to commit to that.
Yeah, maybe there's like remote positions people could help you with or something.
Yeah. I've had a lot of people like offer to like do my editing and stuff for me, but at the same time, like I like the editing aspect of YouTube the most. Like if I could never film again and never touch a camera again, I would be super happy. Like I could forget all that stuff. If I could just edit 24/7, like I would become a full-time editor. Like I love that side of the whole YouTube space. Which is funny because I think most people hate the editing.
Yeah, stuff. I'm the exact. So I don't really do a whole lot of YouTube, but even on for Twitch and stuff, the fun part about Twitch is I can just set up the cameras and the lighting, and that's like the most fun for me. Yeah. To do anything like afterwards where I'm having to like cut things and add things, I'm like, bro, I don't want to do this. Just let me film things and be an idiot on camera. Let me do that.
Sounds
please.
like y'all are the perfect match.
The first step to learning is to learn how to delegate, bro. See, I'm bad with that too, Sniper Penguin. I can't even delegate. For me, I'd love in the future, like way down. Like, yeah, that sounds like a great idea. But I'm kind of in the same space where it's kind of like I like doing things on my own mindset, I don't even need a camera to be an idiot. I mean, yeah, there's that too, Faustus. I don't really need a camera to do that. So you guys are just seeing me in my normal attire here, I guess. Getting Frank to tweet sometimes. Sorry?
I'll say Dustin brings up a good point where he said like Frank uses black magic and the manual adjustments is a lot of work. Like I would also have to find somebody who knew how to work the black magic cameras and like had that knowledge on their side as well, because it's way different than like a DSLR. So yeah, that's also a good point, having someone with that prior experience.
Yeah, it's tough. But yeah, guys, this has been a blast so far. I have to admit, time's flying by. I literally looked up to the thing. I'm like, oh boy, it's been an hour and 45 minutes. Yeah, it's hard for me to give up control. I know. It's the same thing with me. I wonder, since Frank is an Eagles fan, he must be I guess must be into other Philly sports fans. Wonder what he thinks of the Union right now. So again, I don't know.
Honestly, I can't think of the last time I followed the Union. I know, like, I used to be like I watched one of their games like when I was a bit younger, but I haven't like really dove too much into MLS and stuff. Locally, at least.
What's MLS?
Yeah, like Major League Soccer, and that's like the Philadelphia Union is like their soccer team.
Okay.
But yeah, I like other Philly sports. I'm just mainly like a big football guy.
MLS equals football. Thanks, guys. I appreciate that, chat. You guys are like me, guys, with sports. I have no idea. Barely know how to play any of them. So go Panthers. Alex, did you watch the? I don't even know what 254 event is. UFC 254. I don't know, guys. I'm sorry. I don't watch literally any sports. So you guys are, from my perspective, all right. You guys are shouting out random animals, and that's all I understand. I don't know what team they are. I don't know. Whatever you guys are saying, Eagles, Dolphins, Seahawks. I don't know.
Someone said go sports team. That's your style.
Yeah, go sports teams. That's about
you just kicked a home run.
But last question that I have that I saw in chat a few times and I'm curious about too. What's going to be your next custom outside of the ones that you already own? Like, what are you thinking of? Anything that's piquing your interest that's been in group buy right now?
Yeah, I know you. I think you messaged me about that at one point, asking if I'd be interested in that build, right?
No, Reagan, say something again. I think you're muted.
I may have. Did I mute?
Yeah, you did.
There you go. You're good.
Oh.
But,
I may have.
Like I said before, like if I could get a hold of that Geist prototype or whatever it is,
those are nice.
To get that. Something about it, it's just I'm in love.
It's pretty. That little, I don't even know if it has functionality. I don't think it does, but it's just pretty looking. And his renders and everything have just been like top tier.
They're so good.
Like they're so nice. But yeah, I can't wait for that to come out. He did the prototype though. He has a prototype.
Yeah. and I've seen about a lot of questions, people asking why I still use my Corsair still. We did touch on that earlier. Yes, I still use the Corsair as my main. No, I'm not scared to admit it. But my reasoning pretty much was for gaming, editing, you know, and everything else, it's just a lot easier with my workflow because I've been using them with their macros, their ecosystem tied with all the Elgato stuff since the original K95 came out. I guess that was probably 2017. So I got 3 years of muscle memory with just all the macros and stuff, all the functions tied to the Corsair ecosystem. So I still use it, best of both worlds. And their optical switches really aren't that bad. They're pretty smooth.
Well, that's going to be one of our next things here to wrap things up too, is we're going to be picking up some like Corsair keyboards, some duckies and stuff like that, and then go really into depth of how we can take these things apart and maybe mod them. So it should be, very interesting.
I did something similar with the Razer Huntsman Mini.
That's a good little board, to be honest. The Huntsman. Yeah. I've heard very good things about that.
Yeah, and they did a great job with improving their the switch rattle and stuff. They added little silicone dampeners in their new optical switches, and it makes a world's difference.
Yeah, it was a really good example of Razer just listening to the community.
Yeah, Razer gets so much shit because they're a big company and people love to hate on them.
Yeah.
But they over the last 2 years, they've listened 100% to the community, and they've done a great job with that. And they've expanded their product offering so much that it's really cool to see because not a lot of companies will do that.
Yeah, within the esports scene, I've been surprised at how much Razer has started to reclaim, specifically with that Huntsman keyboard, the 60%, and then with their newest wireless mouse that has also been received very well. The is it the Viper?
Yep. Yeah. This has been my main. It's lightweight. It's super. I don't know. It's great.
Yeah, it's interesting to see because I think back in the day it was I feel like it was a meme to hate on them because they had the green logo with the weird snake thing that came out of it.
Yeah,
it was just memey, you know. But I'm using the Huntsman Mini now. Hell yeah. If we can get this asked up, what do you guys think about Apple considering giving users haptic feedback customization on their upcoming keyboards? I like the Apple keyboard. I feel like I'm one of the only people who doesn't mind my Apple keyboard on my MacBook. I like it. I think it's good. I mean, if they're going to do haptic feedback on keyboards, cool. I think it's going to be neat. Be cool to see. But, I don't know. I feel like I like Apple stuff.
Didn't they already have haptic feedback on their, their Air? The MacBook Air lineup? Wasn't that a thing? I could be wrong, but I thought the switches were, so, thin that they didn't actually actuate. It would just give you the haptic feedback like you were pressing them. Or am I just,
I don't know about I don't know.
Somebody asked, "What is haptic feedback?" By the way,
it's like vibration. It's vibration to signify you've touched something when it's
like when you type on your iPhone and you feel the vibration of every key. Yeah, basically.
Feedback to prove to your fingers and body that you've clicked something. But guys, that's a Keebcast. Someone was asking for you to do a Frank outro. I don't know if you want to do that or not.
just like my outro, just awkwardly, or should I do it as we wrap it up?
I guess as we wrap up. I don't. You know what, they asked to do this with Bad Seed too, so they asked for the Let's Go thing. So can you tell me a good keyword 150? For everyone who's asking questions about these stuff too, feel free, join the next Keebcast, or even just catch me on my normal streams, or take a look at some of Frank's videos too. A lot of cool information there. I try to be as informative as I can too, but I'll get to those questions if you guys want to tune in. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for Frank for coming on to the show today. That's pretty wild to me. Thank you, Spooce Cables,
for having me. It's been definitely great to catch up. Put a face. I've been talking to you guys for a while, so it's cool to formally meet and connect.
Yeah, definitely. And thank you, Chase, for tuning on too. I know Chase's background's looking hella nice today. So Frank has a Twitch account. I don't know, Frank, you have yours? Do you actually use it?
I have a Twitch account. Can't tell you the last time I actually streamed. I'll stream mainly on my
YouTube account, right?
YouTube channel.
For
when I do Black Friday stuff. But yeah, I used to stream pretty frequently back in 2014, but it's been a long time since.
Yeah. I think YouTube, because you already have the platform there. It's why switch?
Yeah.
But thank you guys. We're gonna wrap up now. Let me find someone to raid, and then we'll have Frank do the outro. Let's see who
and we got to get Frank on Among Us. We got to.
Yeah, we'll definitely get that.
And don't
planned.
forget to check out his NK65 if you haven't.
Yes, unlimited pre-orders until November 6th, so hop on it while you can.
There you guys go. Links in the chat.
Yes.
And if anyone is on a budget, you guys know we like the NK65 here, so definitely check that out.
Yep,
we're gonna raid Chris Yee. So if you guys want to check him out here, but
I love Chris.
We're done here in 5 seconds. So Frank, if you want to, by all means.
Alrighty, I'm RandomFrankP. Hope you enjoyed. Have a good day.
Bye guys. Take care. Thank you guys.